Greetings, it is September 23rd, 2011. Welcome to the second edition of LuchaWorld. This is Vandal the Love Handle Drummond.
Vandal the Love Handle.
Johnny Legend gave me that name, and I want to thank him sincerely, because nobody ever noticed my love handles until he came up with...
Everybody's going to notice them now.
Yep, they pinch them and they say, Yantas.
Well, that's why you wear a mask, so...
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. And, of course, Alfredo Esparza, the king of Lucha World. We are going to cover several topics tonight. One, we just got done watching the June 17th Averno versus La Mascara contra Masca match. Masca?
Mask match.
I'm brilliant, aren't I? Mascara contra Mascara.
Just go with English.
Match. Mask versus mask. Yeah. Yeah.
So what did you think of the match?
I enjoyed the match very much. I
probably would have enjoyed it more if I would have seen that before everything else.
That's true. We waited a long time to get a full version. I mean, we saw clips here and there throughout the last couple of months, so... I was really jazzed to see it because my appetite was really whetted for it. As people who know me know, I'm just getting refamiliar with CMLL TV, and like I said before, this is a really good time if you want to get refamiliarized with the promotion, because
there's a lot of TV now, so
there is. It's almost
so much online. You can find practically every lucha, every CMLL show imaginable. So you can't, if you're missing it, you don't have a reason to complain about it. So
exactly. Obviously, I really enjoyed the third fall the most.
Yeah, the first fall was short, so...
So was the second fall.
Seriously.
I mean, it almost would have made sense if they just had to be a one-fall match like they did with Viano Tercero contra Atlantis in 2000.
Yeah. But I think they wanted the falls thing.
Yeah, I prefer 2 out of 3 fall matches.
But you're right, they could have gone one fall and it would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah. I almost wonder why they... Yeah. I wonder why they bothered with 2 really quick falls like that, almost like, okay, let's just get them out of the way. It would have been kind of cute if maybe, the way it happened is Averno went over in the first fall in, I don't know if it was even 3 minutes. It was really quick.
Short. I mean, the intros lasted longer than the first fall, so...
Yeah, and I thought...
And you enjoyed the intros, too, so...
The intros were great! You know what? I'm one of the people who, after watching so much AAA... I get so burnt out on watching wrestlers' intros.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like half of AAA TV are the wrestlers taking their time going to the ring to their music. And I'm sure that's wonderful for the live crowd, but when you have to see it every single week on TV, your thumb gets a cramp, just being placed on the DVR's fast-forward button.
Well, they cut that off because they're doing a lot of one-hour shows.
Ah, so you have to.
They have to pretty much cut that out, so... But I mean, it's kind of weird when you have like groups, like La Milicia, and then like each guy will come in individually, where it's like, what's the point of that?
Right.
But I mean, they kind of cut that back a little bit. So.
Yeah, which is one of the things I love about Peste Negra.
They all come in together.
Yeah, they come in as a trio with a trio's theme song. It's so
I think
cool.
All the trios do that too. Like, where's the TRT does that too. The match itself was, the third fall was really good.
The third fall was wonderful, and yeah, when I'm talking about those first 2 falls, I'm being just a little nitpicky here. I mean, I thought it would have been cool if in the second fall, maybe Mascara just did a lot of selling and they made it look like he was on his way out.
That's usually what happens in most of the 2 out of 3 falls matches.
Yes.
The second fall is a little bit longer with the technical selling for about 5 or 6 minutes. And then it goes at least 10 minutes. This one just went like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, like, let's get these 2 falls out of the way and let's go to the match. But that third fall was wonderful. Averno is...
I really dug that spot where La Mascara hit Averno with the tope, with Averno turned around.
Yes.
Towards, looking down or something.
There was a spot where you see Mascara, he's doing what you think's going to be a typical tope, and as he's going through the ropes, you see that Averno's back is turned away from him. He's not going to catch him. However, he does base for him. He doesn't just, it's not just a blind tope. He actually does base for him. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I don't think I have either. I think I might have, but I see so much wrestling. I see so much wrestling.
Well, if you see so much wrestling and that sticks out, that says something. That says something. Now, I know before the podcast we talked about this, but just for the people listening, what's the word on Averno possibly or possibly not going to WWE? Is it myth or is it happening?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Well, I mean, I think there's still a belief that he is going to be there.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of when, and that's kind of like where everybody doesn't really know. I personally don't. I don't think he's going. I kind of find it a little too. I don't know. It just seems a little too late now.
Yeah.
He could be. I mean, WWE. See, trying to guess what WWE's going to do is really pointless.
It is. You might as well flip a coin because you could guess logically what you would do as a booker, or you could even guess logically what they would do as bookers. However, it seems like they do everything by panic. Like, if the TV rating's low, they change their battle plan.
Well, like we were talking about Mark Henry, the whole Mark Henry thing, how he, everybody wants him to have a long run as champion. Mm-hmm. But then, you're just waiting. Oh, they're going to drop it. Like, the next pay-per-view is in 2 weeks, isn't it? 2 weeks?
It is.
They'll have him drop it. They'll change their mind, do something else. And that's how I figure Averno, they're going to do. They probably told them about Averno.
It's true.
And, it's writers. It's writers, too. It's like, they're not going to be writing about Averno. They're like, who the hell's Averno, It's like...
Yeah.
I don't really see much.
Well, one thing I'll say is CMLL probably has one of the strongest roster of wrestlers, and from what I've seen, I think Averno is the cream in that promotion. Well, he is such a smooth worker, and
the only good thing is like they have so much talent that Averno leaves. It's not.
Yeah, they won't be lost. It
won't be as big a loss as it would be like when Mystical left, because I think when Mystical left, it kind of left them a little bit out in the cold.
I mean, for all the screwy moves that CMLL does, which we will get into a little later, it's my favorite promotion right now. And one thing I think that they're doing that's really smart is they're not just building up a few wrestlers here and there. They're really building up an array of wrestlers from La Mascara, Sombra, Guerrero Maya.
Mascara Dorada.
Yes.
Angel de Oro, Diamante, Rush.
I love Rush.
The technical side is pretty deep now. Like when Mystical first left, the technical side seemed kind of like, oh, okay, who's gonna La Sombra and Mascara Dorada? Who else? And then they switched the Garza over to technical, which Volador Jr. has replaced Garza, and they just beat Rush for the belts. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that. No.
Volador's trio with Psychosis 2 and Olympico beat Rush and Diamante and Angel de Oro for the trios titles, and that's a really good group too. So that's
now I would go as far. I don't think this will happen, but Wrestling Observer, your Wrestler of the Year awards come at the end of the year. I've thought just from all the push CM Punk got, he's a contender. I really think Averno is a contender. I mean, considering what he's doing with the promotion, if they're not selling out the arenas, it's not because of him.
I think CM Punk's going to win it anyway.
I think he will, yeah. Yes.
It doesn't matter.
And deservedly so. I mean, and, well, WWE's doing their screwy thing, too, with, they've got something good in CM Punk here, and now they're starting to piss it away.
We should have discussed what we were talking about off the air about the lack of writing and emotion in wrestling. What were we talking about?
We were talking about that because there was a spot in the Averno versus Mascara match that was really awesome where Mascara had Averno covered for a pin, and the referee's counting, and as he's counting, Mascara. Mascara is actually counting with his fingers. 1, 2, not in a cocky way like I have him pinned, but he's waving his fingers 1, 2 as if he's hoping, I think I got him.
Yeah.
And there was just such emotion in it. You know, the histrionics in lucha are just. I always compared lucha libre and American wrestling as to silent movies and talking pictures. You know, talking pictures, you know, you convey a little bit through the face, but you do a lot of it through talking. You know, American wrestling, you know, forever has relied on a lot of mic work. Lucha libre, there's more mic work involved than there was 20 years ago. But what I always loved about Lucha Libre is so much of the story is told in the ring like a silent movie, with not just facial gestures, but gestures with the hands and
yeah. And that's what I think WWE misses a lot of times, because a lot of their younger guys, they don't really do anything. They're just really robotic looking in the ring. So,
yes,
so you don't really get that emotional feel for those guys. Like, you don't have, like, you know, you notice right away when CM Punk does something, because he actually knows what he's doing.
Yes,
and he shows a little emotion, and then all of a sudden you see like a Wade Barrett or somebody like that, and it's like he doesn't have that, you know.
Yeah, it's what I call video.
Separation.
It's what I call video game wrestling. Punch, punch, fall down. Kip up, punch, punch. He falls down, and
you get that sometimes in lucha, but it's not as noticeable because guys are doing a little more in the ring. At least,
yes,
it looks that way. It looks that way. I don't know.
Well, we talked about Averno versus Mascara, with CMLL, no doubt, probably the biggest match of the year. When we return, we'll be talking about the upcoming CMLL anniversary show. Welcome back to the second round of the second edition of LuchaWorld, and for those of you who do listen to the Slam and Stand podcast, you can hear I'm a little laid back, and no, I am not Sparking the Owl or anything. Just kind of still getting used to doing a live podcast.
I'm pretty sure you are high, because I could smell it here.
Oh, jeez, what a giveaway.
I think
it was all edible, too.
I think I'm getting high from your high.
Are you getting a contact high from Vandal Drummond? You know, maybe I should try doing a podcast stoned. Maybe it'll have the reverse effect and I'll perk up and, like, go wild.
Well, you know, you better not do pot, because then you'll be, like, really calm.
Yeah.
On Slam and Stand.
Hey, that La Mascara, he's cool, you know? Yeah. That guy can fly. Yeah, he flies.
So we're going to talk about the anniversary show, which we only know that there's going to be a 10-man hair match.
And
cage hair match.
Okay, this is when I said earlier that CMLL right now is my favorite promotion, despite the screwy things they do. Now, the June 17th match, La Mascara versus Averno, Mascara contra Mascara. I actually said it right.
That wasn't planned.
It wasn't, but still, look, it wasn't planned, and they had a loaded show.
Yeah.
And their anniversary show.
We didn't even talk about Nakamura doing the moonwalk.
Oh, yeah, that was very cool. That was a cool entrance. Now, I could watch that every week on TV if he did the moonwalk.
The match itself was pretty skippable.
And made the eyes at the girls as he did the moonwalk.
Yeah.
You know. But, you know, here was a loaded show. And, well, like you said, it's something that they almost threw together, and it was great. The anniversary show, which is supposed to be one of their signature shows, they have all this time to plan it, and the best thing they come up with is
a 10-man cage match with everyone's hair on the line.
My God, this is the same promotion who in 1990 had the Rayo de Jalisco Jr. versus Cien Cara match, and despite the fact it was Rayo de Jalisco Jr., it was an awesome match with a crowd that sold out Arena Mexico, sold it out to the point that there was structural damage to the arena from so many people being there. And now cage matches?
They've been doing it a lot lately, too, so it's horrible.
I don't even remember what the main event was last year, but it wasn't along the same lines?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
We could actually search for it. Here, you keep talking while I search.
Well, since I'm talking about the screwy things that CMLL does,
This is where we need Bix.
That's right. The Bixie Demon. We need the Bixie Demon to fill in some great words of. He really comes up with some good off the cuff stuff. and some great sardonic wit there too when we go silent. No, I do want to say, as screwy as CMLL can be, I am enjoying their recent TV so much. And when I say TV specifically, I mean the Galavision shows, because I know there's a slew of other shows available, from Ross De Lona to the LA TV shows that air here in the Southland, at least.
Are you watching the LA TV shows now?
No, I'm not, and for the strangest reason. I forget when they're on, and my DVR will not do a series setting on that channel.
I know, you told me last time. But
on that channel only. It won't let me do DVR settings. I don't get it, but, well...
Why don't you get a VCR?
I miss VCRs. God, I feel old saying that.
Yeah, it was last year. Olympico lost the mask. Last year was Olympico losing his mask.
And it was a tournament again,
Yeah,
right?
no, it was a 10-man cage match.
10-man cage match.
And then 2008 was also the cage match. I remember 2008 because that was it 2008? See, now I'm getting Kurt Brown.
Now, normally I would say I would love to be a fly on the wall at the booking meetings to hear who makes the call for a 10-man cage match. The only problem is I don't speak Spanish, so even if I was a fly, I couldn't understand what they're saying.
Well, see, the problem also is that they do the cage matches and then they do the tournaments. So you're getting a cage match and a tournament. Yeah, it was the previous year was Mystico versus Negro Casa's hair match in 2009. Yeah, 2008 was the cage match.
Yes, that's right.
2008 was the Blue Panther cage match. Yeah. Isn't that sad? I can't remember any of this stuff.
We're getting old.
Hey, I searched for this on my website, so I had no problem.
Beauty of the internet.
That's the only good thing.
We have our memory stored on an internet cloud, so we can retrieve this stuff. Now, what I was saying about the TV, what I've enjoyed recently...
But wait, aren't you going to be excited when you watch the cage match in like a year later?
No.
Actually, in 3 months, probably in 3 months.
No, I was excited to see Averno and Mascara. I will not be excited to see the cage match.
You don't want to see who's going to lose their hair?
Oh, it's going to be some throwaway who
It's the least interesting thing, like when it's a 10-man cage match with everybody's hair on the line. And then it's not going to be somebody... They're not going to throw away somebody's hair.
If I could say one thing that
who's valuable
is traditionally weak on our tournaments, I remember... years ago when we'd go to Tijuana, we'd just go to Tijuana. We wouldn't check out to see what the card was most of the time. We'd just go there, and our faces would get a little sad when they said, one-night tournament, Torneo de la Muerte, and we'd say, oh, great, a tournament, because most of the matches, the work is weak, and they're short, and, they were the lame ducks of Lucha Libre. I do want to say, though, that the recent tournament that has been airing on Galavision, I have enjoyed, and
well, see, but it's a TV show. It's a 1 hour TV show. You kind of there's two ways of determining how the show's going to air. It's either going to be two matches, 2 out of 3 falls, and if they're going to do a tournament, at least it's short matches.
It's a short match. This is one of the things I dig about the tournament matches. Is it reminds me of what I know Galavision TV is not usually like this, but for a few weeks here I will watch CMLL, and it will remind me of what wrestling on TV was like when I was a kid. Short matches to kind of further a storyline.
Kurt has ADD. Is it ADD?
It is ADD. I was never diagnosed, but I guarantee you I had it. I probably have OCD
or
too.
short attention span, or whatever it's called.
What?
Short attention span.
Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah, that the short. That thing. But what's unique about this tournament, at least from past tournaments I've seen, is the guys actually do work in these short matches. It's what I remember from lucha tournaments in the past. They would just work a few holds and then go for a pinfall.
Go for the foul.
Yeah, go for a foul or. And the audience doesn't pop for most of these matches that much because, well, they know it's a tournament, and they seem to be getting a little more excited when, each round furthers and is, getting down to who's going to actually win the tourney.
There's so many tournaments, though. It's ridiculous.
It is not.
They have like
overdone.
They have like about I mean, they just did the Universal tournament. They did the Leyenda Azul before that. They're going to do the Leyenda Plata. Then they did like a couple of other tournaments in between.
Tournaments and I agree.
And now Kurt's going to discuss how much fun the tournament was.
After
I shit on it.
Yeah, this particular tournament I am enjoying. I mean, I won't say it's knockout 4-star TV or anything like that, but one, and this is only because I'm getting refamiliar with the wrestlers in CMLL.
It's a good way to see who the new guys are. Yeah.
Exactly. There was one short match between... Actually, I shouldn't even point out that it was a short match because they're all short matches, but match between Angel de Oro and Sombra, and just so people know, Kurt took notes. Yes, I took notes, and that's another reason why I'm kind of slow here and getting used to it, because I'm holding the microphone, I'm reading notes. So,
Kurt
we're working the bugs out here.
I was shocked when I saw the notebook.
Yeah, because if I don't take notes, I'm going to forget what I saw. Yeah. I'll remember who did one high spot, but I will not remember who he is doing it with.
Should buy an iPad.
Yeah, that would be cool. But Angel de Oro de Sombra, I loved the finish. Sombra won in an earlier match just doing a backflip.
Against Diamante, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. And pinned him. So he goes for that same move on Angel de Oro. Angel de Oro moves out of the way, but Sombra lands on his feet and then just immediately does another backflip, pins him with it. And I also dug when Hector Garza, went up against Rey Bucanero, and it wasn't even really a match. Bucanero won by crookery.
Yeah.
And basically it set up
the cage match, isn't it? Their entrance in the cage match, was it that?
Well, my Spanish is terrible, but I got the feeling that Garza was trying to do a one-on-one hair versus hair.
Yeah, it's the cage match.
Oh, man.
I think they're getting thrown into the cage.
That's ridiculous.
But I don't think they're going to be the ones that drop the hair in the cage. Mm-hmm. It's probably going to be like whoever probably Negro Casas. Because he's the pro in that. He might not actually be the one, because if they do Peste Negras feuding with Fuerza TRT, mm-hmm. they could actually come back with that down the road, a triple trios hair match.
And that is one thing that I think is a possibility, because even though CML messes up their anniversary card
and put Mr. Niebla's mask on the line also,
yeah, they can still put together a good Apuesta match somewhere up the road.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm also, as I posted on Facebook, I'm finally used to Felino without his mask. I was in histrionic mourning for the longest time because I thought the Felino mask and outfit was one of the coolest things I had ever seen.
Yeah.
Black and orange stray cat sitting on a fence.
Did you hear that guy on Brian's show? He asked Dr. Lucha if the Felino mask was like from some guy who was a jobber or a good wrestler, and the guy was like, I think his name, his signature on the board was like Lucha Libre Porn Fiend. And so when he wrote when they were talking about that, I go that kind of just, that's pretty much every Lucha Libre fan.
Exactly.
Aren't we all porn fiends?
That could actually be like a good subject for like Dr. Phil, a Lucha Libre fan who refuses to watch porn. Now, what's your problem here? You just want to stick out or something?
Well, see, the great thing is now you can watch CML out and you can get a little porn in there with women.
That's true.
That's good enough right there.
And unlike Japan, I don't think there have been any luchadors who have actually used their name to...
Well, you have that website called Be the Mask.
What's that?
With the guys wearing lucha mask. And they're banging girls.
Oh, but they're not really.
No, they're not. They're not. But there was. Hey, Blue Panther. You could see Blue Panther banging some chick. That's pretty fun. And it's not even Blue Panther.
Well, Johnny Legend made Sex Mex about 11 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was retitled Nympho Libre.
I never got a copy.
You never got a copy?
No.
Okay, I'll have to.
That's okay.
I'll have to remedy that.
I don't want one.
Don't worry. The only role I had in it was in my Lucky Pierre mask, but I did not have sex.
Didn't he pay you with giving you a copy of
No, actually.
Or was that physical?
I actually got $75. No, he paid Physico
with a DVD.
He actually gave him $40 too.
And the DVD.
And the DVD, and Jeff said, "What a cool payoff! $40 on a porn flick."
Physico's like, well, I'll just throw this away.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm kidding. It's a wonderfully well acted movie.
Exactly. With
I actually dug their website. It was briefly right. There was briefly a website for it. I guess they took it down or something.
Yeah, they did. That was a cool website with all the.
Yeah, they had pictures like you sitting, like Lucky Pure sitting in the jacuzzi.
That's right. Yes.
while the guys, there's no nudity, and there's just like the scene where it's just them like barely getting ready to do something.
Yes, that's when Johnny was making the entrance.
Yeah, and then you're just sitting there like.
Yeah, that was funny because all the girls were naked in the jacuzzi, but Johnny was in the jacuzzi with him, but he was fully clothed.
Oh god. That's so funny.
Oh, but yeah, that'll have to be a future episode. Is Japanese wrestlers who have done porn, because there have been several, and I think that would be a very deep subject that we can discuss.
Yeah, we discussed this off the air when we were talking about Dick Togo's retirement, which Kurt had no idea he had retired.
Yep. Like I said,
Does Dave Meltzer not cover Dick Togo's retirement?
He probably does, but...
you skipped it?
Let's just say I have to start reading my Observers a little more carefully. I finally started subscribing to the print edition again after 2 years, so...
You only read the MMA part.
well, I do agree with Jim Cornette that MMA has stolen our sport, and it's pro wrestling's fault. I mean, they're more pro wrestling than pro wrestling is these days.
Mm. We're not talking MMA on this show.
We're not talking MMA. No,
let's get back to CMLL. We already talked about
CMLL. There was another match that I really dug between Felino and Blue Panther that was part of the tournament.
Yeah.
And yeah, Felino is just really cool.
Blue Panther's even better.
He is.
He's the greatest wrestler of all time. How he's not in the Observer Hall of Fame, I will never know.
That baffles me.
And I also say that because I know him, so...
That's right. That's cool.
He shook my hand. Oh, he shook my hand.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah, he was actually a really nice guy.
But I loved how, I mean, Panther actually gets Felino to tap with an armbar. The referee just kind of like doesn't call it though. So if I remember right, I think Panther kind of let the hold go too soon or something like that. Like Felino started tapping, Panther let go of the hold prematurely. There's a ref bump, and then Felino wins with a figure 4 leg lock.
Yeah.
Most of the finishes in this tournament are straight, clean finishes, which are cool. And this was one of the exceptions, obviously. But I dig that they're not trying to protect...
Yeah, they're not protecting anybody. Like Tanahashi losing like in 30 seconds.
Yes,
Remember?
Yes.
When was that?
I don't know what that was, but
I thought that was... I know Dave Meltzer got upset. Tanahashi loses in 30 seconds. I'm like, well, it's a tournament. Everybody loses in 30 seconds.
It's one match. If you want to look at it that way, Hector Garza lost in 30 seconds.
That you know what? That's payback for all the CMLL guys jobbing at New Japan.
I agree. That's
payback.
It's going to be international, worldwide karma for Eric Bischoff jobbing all the lucha boys,
But see, it didn't hurt Tanahashi anyways.
It didn't hurt him at all. No, it doesn't. Say it hurt him.
In Mexico, the way everything is booked, a guy can lose in 30 seconds, and like the next week he could be main eventing a world title match.
Well, when Santo was still reigning high in CMLL, he did clean jobs frequently.
The original or the Son?
The Son.
Oh, the Son.
Ihode Santo.
Because Santo never jobbed. He never lost. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
He never lost. He's a saint.
Oh, that's true. And he did not drink alcohol.
Yeah, he didn't drink alcohol. He was a saint.
Suarez said so. He said so, and I believe everything he says. Well, there was one match I dug with Tanahashi and Mascara Dorada, and what I dug is that Mascara went up for his moonsault, and as he does the moonsault off the top turnbuckle, Tanahashi just places a perfectly placed boot into his face. I mean,
Tanahashi's really cool looking too.
Yeah,
There's another thing I was telling you about how I thought New Japan, a lot of people like give it a lot of. It's kind of like they give it the same thing with CMLL, where they just rip on it.
Yeah.
And New Japan, I mean, there's a lot of talent in their promotion too. So.
And I want to start getting caught up on that too.
The show is kind of sometimes there's so much New Japan I think it kind of wears you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Noah's the one that's a little more difficult lately to watch.
Yeah, I'm so out of touch that I don't even know who's in Noah these days.
Name me 5 Noah wrestlers.
Okay, let me see. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Misawa. Nope, he's dead.
No, he's gone. God rest his soul.
Can you name 5
Noah wrestlers?
New Japan wrestlers?
Tanahashi, Nakamura, the ghost of Antonio Inoki. Nope, I can't.
Liger?
Oh, he's still with them.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can't name 5 New Japan guys?
No, I can't.
Wow.
Seriously,
All Japan. I bet you can't name even one All Japan guy.
Nobody in All Japan, I guarantee you.
Wow.
Yeah.
DDT, can you name anybody in DDT?
None, and I'm ashamed because I think DDT is such an...
Let me go through every promotion and see who you can name. IWRG,
It'll be a short show because I can't name anybody.
Can you name anybody from IWRG?
No.
AAA?
Wait. IWRG, are those
the Nakalpan promotion.
Yeah, but I mean, are the cops still with them?
Yeah.
The trio? Okay,
yeah.
Them. And I forgot what they're called.
Los Oficiales.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they had that one appearance on AAA TV, and I will still go on the record saying that was one of my favorite AAA TV matches ever.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they still keep a lot of their same guys.
That's cool. But with a Tanahashi match with Mascara Dorada, one of the things I dug is after Mascara Dorada crashed and burned with his moonsault attempt, Tanahashi just races to the turnbuckle like, I've got my chance.
Yeah.
Gets up there, does a frog splash, like sold it, like time is of the essence. He just didn't sit there and just lazily go climb the turnbuckle.
They probably told him, you got 30 seconds.
Like, oh, maybe that's the real reason he did it. He said, I have to go home fast.
I'm pretty sure they did. I mean, those matches, they've been doing that tournament for so long that they probably know that they're not going to last that long. Yeah.
Now, the one event that we talked about in the last episode that I really dig is the singles match. I already forgot the term for it.
The lightning match?
The lightning match, the 10-minute time limit match. Now, that really gets a pop from the crowd every time.
Because there's a certain way that they finish it, and they have that little timer running the entire time. You never noticed it?
I did. I have noticed it. That's what intrigued me about the match is, that's a really old school thing. In fact, I remember we mentioned on Slam and Stan last night, is when we were growing up, when a match was nearing the time limit,
5 minutes.
Yeah, the referee would say 5 minutes to go, then 4 minutes to go, and the crowd would get really tense and amped up to see, is this guy going to get pinned or is this going to the time limit? It's something that is so rarely used now, but I think it's such a great tool. And it's great just with that clock up on the wall counting down the 10-minute time limit.
They're doing lately. I think they started. I can't remember if they started recently, but they're doing those lightning matches with the bigger names. Like I think they did. I can't remember if they did one with a couple of the bigger names, but I think they call it something completely different. And apparently, I mean that's something they should really use more often because I mean their TV show is all, especially for the Friday show, because on TV the Galavision show it's so many commercials. It's so, instead of editing all these matches, they could put the lightning match and then they could have their 2 other matches. And I'm guessing it's going to be part of the common thing now because they're going to start doing a 1 hour.
I actually think that's a
TV
good
show.
idea. One of the things that just takes a little something away from wrestling to me is it seems like everybody thinks that even on TV matches, they always so many matches have to be lengthy, and they always go to commercials, and
then you lose interest because of the commercial.
Yeah, that's
and why. I think that's another thing on the Tuesday, the LA TV show. I think they should do a lightning match on the Tuesday tapings too, because I mean they do the 4 matches, but then like they edited it out. Like the LA TV show gets edited out. Usually in Mexico, it goes about 10-15 minutes longer on the Cadena C3 show over there, and the LA TV show gets cut down. So if they actually like put in a lightning match, they wouldn't have to edit all this other stuff out. So I mean, I don't know. I kind of think they should really start looking into that.
I think they should too. I mean, I'm not being facetious at all when I'm saying I love seeing short matches on TV. I don't know. I think that's what TV wrestling is about. I know a lot of people think I'm thinking in an antiquated way, but I think if you do it right,
they're going to be like, oh, here goes Kurt Brown with this NWA
NWA from Hollywood and all this other stuff.
No, it's like I said, you can't go back in time and do it the way they did it. If I had oodles of money, I would do it just to be a joker. I'd promote shows like that.
If you had money, you'd probably promote like DDT, like
I would go DDT.
You know what? You would have Teddy Hart as your head booker.
Now that's something I know we hit upon it on Slam and Stand last night, but
Teddy Hart is a AAA guy.
Yes,
or a former AAA guy,
and since CMLL has mascots like Periquito and Kemonito, since they have animal mascots, we must say Teddy Hart has taken it a step further. Now, you are telling me he wants to have animals doing run-ins?
Yeah, he wants to train animals like cats and dogs into doing run-ins.
Just when I thought Teddy Hart was absolutely nuts with no redeeming qualities, he goes and does this, and my God, that's brilliant.
Wouldn't that be great? Like somebody's like doing like... Remember that? Oh, well, maybe WWE already thought about that.
Do you think?
Remember the Tough Enough? They did... Oh, you don't watch Tough Enough.
You know me, I don't watch anything.
Well, the Tough Enough, they had different obstacle courses and all this stuff. And one of the things when... I think it was... I can't remember who was the guest. But they had wear the dog suits. And they had dogs chase them. And whoever whoever reached the furthest was the winner. And I think that's the one where Eric Watts did really badly. Remember Darkula?
Yes.
He did. I think he actually might have won that. Because he was pretty big. I think he got tired, though. I can't remember who won that. But, I mean, they did the dog thing. Maybe they actually already... Yeah. Maybe they got into Teddy Hart's mind.
That could
and
be.
They're planning to do run-ins. Maybe one of these days, Michael Cole's going to get attacked by a tiger or something.
That would be
We
awesome.
could only dream.
We could only dream.
Actually, Michael Cole hasn't been that bad lately.
Well, and
at least one show.
I actually dug last week when
one show,
or was it the week before, when Daniel Bryan was wrestling the false Sin Cara.
Yeah,
and he was getting heated and coming back hard on him. Michael Cole actually said, Brian Wilson. Brian Daniels is actually starting to show some fire. This is what he should be like.
He didn't say Brian Danielson either.
I didn't. Did I? But no, it's true. People rag on Cole a lot, but I thought it was really cool a cool shift when he says, Brian Daniels showing some fire here.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan, the Bryanson Danielson.
Kurt can't keep up with the Daniel Bryans.
I really have to start doing drugs. I think I'd be more coherent,
But I mean, they had actually done the dog thing, like the whole. So I figured they're already planning it.
Yeah.
And the ladders. Remember the WrestleMania we saw when they had that really tall ladder? Mm-hmm. I mean, they've obviously been thinking about that. Maybe they do want to add it.
But somehow I picture it working better with Teddy Hart. I picture all the writers in WWE doing something really lame or trying to be too correct so they leave one of the animals out.
Yeah, yeah.
I picture Teddy Hart having like a golden retriever come like...
I could see the dog show becoming part of...
Yeah, the Westminster dog. That would be so cool.
Part of the Raw.
I see a golden retriever like...
I mean, they're calling it Super Raw SmackDown or whatever they're calling it, where they're combining everybody now on Raw.
Yes.
But why not add the dogs into it?
Yeah, there you go. But see, you have a golden retriever come steal the belt from the heel and bring it back to the face, and you could have gorillas.
You just know DDT's going to do something with that.
Couldn't you see?
I'm sure they probably already have.
Couldn't you see one of the wrestlers riding a buffalo? Oh man!
Oh, who was the one that rode a horse? Ron Bass? Was it Ron Bass who rode a horse?
Did he?
Somebody rode a horse into a ring once.
That's
into
cool.
the arena.
That's cool.
That would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah. Now I do remember hearing that when.
How about snakes? Snakes in the motherfucking ring.
Although that's been done, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, Jake the Snake.
And John Tolis. John Tolis actually
Cavernario Galindo, didn't he?
He ate snakes
in
front of people, yeah. At least that's the legend. I don't know if that's true.
Well, maybe they could do like a backstage scene where all the snakes are just attacking the wrestlers.
That'd be great.
We could see like Ted DiBiase getting eaten by a snake. Like a giant python eats...
Oh my god.
Throughout the 2 hours... Throughout the 2-hour show,
yeah,
the python could be eating Teddy Hart or
Teddy Hart. See, if Teddy Hart promoted the shows, I could picture.
Well, actually, can't eat Teddy Hart.
I could picture him.
Who would come up with this stuff?
I could picture Teddy Hart flying in Kemonito, so Kemonito could wrestle like a monkey, but a blue monkey, a real
monkey,
blue, and Periquito wrestling a live parrot.
I wonder what Teddy Hart thinks of Kemonito and Perico and Zacharias.
Damn, we should try to interview him.
We should ask him like via email or something. Does he have email?
Like I said, just when I thought Teddy Hart...
Maybe one of our listeners can contact him and ask him.
We should, do it, because just when I thought Teddy Hart was
We're too lazy
gone,
to do
there's
it.
no coming back, I thought Teddy Hart is out to lunch and staying for dessert. There's nothing there. He's, physically talented, gifted, but he's way gone. And then he just has this great idea.
Where was he all this time? Seriously, like,
I wonder.
I mean, ever since he was off AAA, I never saw him listed on anything.
I think just about everybody.
Is that what it's like to be in Canada? Like, you just disappear from the face of the planet?
Well, as gifted as he is, he's if I was running a show, he's one of the last people I would put on a show. I mean,
you just raved about him now. You're saying...
No, I raved about him, but still, no, I wouldn't trust him that much. I mean, well, pro wrestling is about stealing, so I think I wouldn't be upset if people stole his idea and
that's
put
true.
animals in the ring. I mean, they've done the wrestling bear, but that's been done to death.
Yeah.
A
wrestling gorilla.
Yeah, that would
Remember my idea of doing a pro wrestling gorilla? Did I ever tell you? I was thinking of doing like pro wrestling, get the gorilla outfit, and just call him pro wrestling gorilla. And I thought you could imagine Super Dragon being all upset at me, wanting to kill me.
Papers.
Yeah, he'd serve me papers and shit.
Okay, we're gonna take another break because we can. So we'll have it. We can. And
end it right when I rip on Pro Wrestling Gorilla. I'm not ripping on them, by the way.
No, that would have been funny though. A Pro Wrestling Gorilla named Pro Wrestling Gorilla.
Okay.
And when we return, we're gonna talk about Rayo de Jalisco Jr. and his explanation why wrestling isn't growing in Guadalajara. We have returned, and one of the other subjects we're going to talk about is the upcoming AAA Heroes Inmortales.
You say it better than I do.
Do I?
No, you don't. I just
don't. I was going to say.
I always hate when I watch those news shows where the Mexicans always have to like say it correctly.
Yes, they have to do the R.
Yeah, they have to do it, and I've always like been like. I always try to go like a little more white.
A lot of my Juegos Rancheros.
But the last show we talked about Sting going to AAA,
and we were trying to figure who would be locking.
And now we know who he's going to wrestle. It's going to be El Messias.
And what's your take on?
I think it'll actually be Messias has been really good in big matches. So I mean, if it's going to be bad, it's going to be because of Sting.
Yes. So when Messias wants to put his working boots on,
he's been excellent in all the big shows, like versus Wagner, versus LA Park. Everybody's been really good. So I mean, but Sting, I mean, from everything I've heard, again, this is just from secondhand because I don't watch TNA. Everybody says Sting has been awful.
Yeah.
So
that's what I have heard. Yes. Yeah. So
I'm not watching TNA.
I guess the question is can Macias
carry him to a good match?
Yeah, can he pull a Shawn Michaels and carry somebody who's not there anymore?
Well, he does it. He does really good with but I mean, those guys are really good workers, like Wagner and LA Park.
Yes.
I mean, I don't remember the Perro match. He had a Perro match, but I think that was a 3-way. Perro and Macias. I think that had Cibernetico in there also.
Yes, true.
And Perro wasn't inebriated. wasn't drunk in that show.
Speaking of which, one of the other matches that are listed here, I guess it looks like Dr. Wagner Jr. will be wrestling Perro Aguayo.
Yeah.
Is that set in stone?
Yeah. It's like let's put Macias versus Sting and let's put Dr. Wagner versus Perro Aguayo and let's see who has a better match with the guy who's actually had his reputation just drop as a worker,
What
Sting is just older, that's understandable.
Yes.
Plus, I mean, he's been through a lot of... I mean, but then again, he's really one of those guys who's actually had a lot of time off. Despite wrestling, he's always had a lot of time off. So it's like...
What is the word on Perro Jr. these days? I mean, we heard about the so-called cancer story.
Can you even trust him to show up to wrestle Dr. Wagner. That's the other thing. I don't know. I mean, he's been showing up to the shows. I mean, I think AAA kind of wanted him to like be a little more, you know.
So he's been walking a straight line for a while. Then.
So that's what I've been.
He's one.
I don't know.
He's one I won't get my hopes up on, but man, I would love to see him turn it around.
I mean, when he's on, he's great.
He is so talented.
I mean, even like if his work rate isn't up, he just comes up. He's so charismatic. It comes out in his matches.
It's interesting because, you know, his father is probably one of the most charismatic characters in Lucha Libre history ever.
And the funny thing about Paraguay, he wasn't just the most charismatic, one of the most charismatic, he's the most selfless guy. Yes. Like he was, I mean, you hear all these guys talk about their first match against Paraguay now. He bled for them. It's like, and you know, it's amazing.
I remember in the early 90s when it was around the time he was feuding with Conan, and not just in matches involving Conan, but anybody. He was probably a good 15 years older than most of the guys he was working with, and he was taking all the bumps.
Yeah, he was still taking bumps that, like, you wouldn't expect from a guy who was, like, in his 50s. Was he in his 50s by that point? He probably was.
Probably right around 50. Around that age. I mean, and the funny thing is, Junior is equally as charismatic, but has a whole different kind of charisma. I mean...
Yeah, and he's not a guy who's going to, like, do a lot of the bumping for his opponent. He's not going to make the other guy look good.
Right.
It's more about him. And that's always been kind of like the weird issue with him. Because like even when he wrestled Mystico, you knew it wasn't going to lead to anything because it was always like, you know, there was always that, he's not going to put his hair on the line, he's not going to do, which would have done a ton of money.
Big box office. Serious box office.
I'm guessing he still has value. His hair still has value though. Because he hasn't really lost it.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's... Man, I hope he comes through.
Yeah. And the other match is Perros del Mal versus Psycho Circus in a hair versus mask match. 3 hair versus 3 mask, and everybody's trying to figure out who's going to lose. It's going to be the Perros probably going to end up losing. It's too soon to drop the Psycho Circus mask.
Yeah, that would.
And those guys are kind of. I mean, what are they going to? Well, they could always switch to something else, but I mean, that's a gimmick. That's a group that they really pushed. They had that streak for so many years that they didn't do anything with, and then like. Once they lost was when they started getting over. How weird is that? It was like a reverse Goldberg. You know, because when Goldberg lost, he kind of lost a lot of his luster. Whereas Psycho Circus, once they lost, it kind of like they started competing more often.
It's almost like starting over again.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it was the most uncompelling win streak I've ever seen in the history of wrestling. I mean...
Because they were working openers and, like, second matches.
Yeah, and it was just, you know, the comedy of abducting one of the little kids and throwing him in their gunny sack. And
then they weren't really that good in the ring, so it's like...
No, you wonder why they picked that particular trio.
Well, I mean, it's clowns. I mean, you're not going to pick, like, you're not going to pick, like, a Laredo Kid or somebody like that to do the...
But it just...
You can tell we don't watch a lot of AAA now because there's only 1 hour worth of AAA.
And that's the...
There's only 1 hour of AAA now, so it's like, how are you going to... It's kind of hard to talk about AAA when there's 1 hour and really... You really have to have the time to watch it.
It's still not visible on Galavision.
It's on YouTube, so... You can watch it on YouTube.
Yes.
Kurt's like, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, that's where I really get ADD. I can sit in front of the television and watch things for eons, but in front of the computer I get really antsy. And
What's like the iPay-per-views? Like I was telling you about how I wanted to order that iPay-per-view. But I mean, the problem is they always go 4 hours. I'm worried about it going 4 hours. And then it's like in front of the computer, I mean, you got other things going on in your life that it's really kind of...
Yeah, it's not like you're sitting back on the couch across the room and...
I've never asked them. I should probably ask them if I could, like, order it, watch it for a little while. Then, like, if I go somewhere, turn off the computer or whatever, come back and watch it later. I'm guessing you can. I think they give you, like, a 24, 48-hour time frame. And there's also the tag match, which is going to be a TLC match, which, of course, would have been great for Teddy Hart. Yes, they could have used the ladders. Teddy Hart's idea for a ladder. It's going to be Extreme Tiger and Jack Evans versus Abyss and Chessman.
And Jack Evans is a perfect man to have in a match like that because...
And the nicest guy on Facebook, too. So.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like the easiest person to friend on Facebook.
That's cool. You know,
he won't cut you out. Like, he won't, like, dump you. Like, I've noticed I always lose one person. And I always assume it's a wrestler that, like, just cut me off.
But he still has. He has his Facebook friend.
Yeah.
I'm not a
him and
fan.
Cassandra.
Cassandra's cool.
Yeah,
Cassandra is the coolest.
Yeah.
But Jack Evans, usually I get driven crazy when I see spot fests. He is the exception.
Yeah. Plus he can break dance too. So
he can break dance, and he takes the craziest bumps. And I think Conan once described him as Gumby. It's just his body just goes flexible with every bump he takes, and he just gets right back up. And so that's one person who it's a good idea to have in a TLC match.
Have you listened to Colt Cabana's podcast?
No.
None of them? None of them. He did one this past week. I think it was the 14th or something. Mm-hmm. He interviewed Bison Smith.
Really?
Who wrestles for Noah. Do you even know who Bison Smith is?
I do know who Bison Smith is. But...
that wasn't me being mean. I just wanted to make sure you knew. He wrestles for Noah. And he was in the match where Misawa passed away. And he was talking about how it was such a basic bump that killed Misawa. Yes. But, what people don't realize is that he was already kind of worn out. He might have suffered an injury before that. And when you're exhausted, you run the risk of doing something, bad. And he was talking about how you could see a guy like he's been around 3 deaths in wrestling. The one where the APW show, the one where Kali killed, yeah, and then the one in Puerto Rico where Victor the bodyguard had a heart attack.
Wow.
And he was talking about that, and he says you watch these guys, like some of these guys who do like get hurt, and it's a basic bump. Mm-hmm. It's like, and then you see Jack Evans. I guess they must have been watching YouTube, and they saw Jack Evans falling off a cage, and they're like, and nothing happens to him.
He's like a cat.
Yeah,
he's a cat. You could drop him off a 4-story building and lands.
Yeah, he lands on his feet and say, "Hey, it's fine."
Yeah, yeah.
I really recommend listening to the Colt Cabana show.
Okay, that'll be something one.
You should add it.
We should. I guess we're plugging it right now. So,
but that should be an interesting match. Abyss in those type of matches is basically just going to be the guy who's going to catch those guys, basically.
Right.
So it should be fine. Yeah. And then the last match is the one that I guess we don't know is going to happen, but Steve, Dr. Lucha Sims brought it up. Mm-hmm. Jeff Jarrett defending the belt against LA Park.
That would be a match I would enjoy.
Which would be actually, I think that would actually be that could be a match of the year candidate if Jeff Jarrett shows up and actually works. Because he's kind of... I don't know if it was Zorro being that bad. Or if it was Jeff Jarrett actually being part of how bad. Because, Jeff Jarrett before that, he didn't come off that bad in AAA. Like, his matches weren't that bad. But, like, that match against Zorro was really... Horrible. Yeah. Jarrett... Plus, Jarrett... I think Jarrett's kind of like... The steam's kind of gone off the sails for some reason. Like,
yeah. Well, and with LA Park, the interesting thing about him is... I'm sure his body is hurting, but he's still... He can still bring it on.
Yeah.
He really... he understands getting over, and... the LA Park versus La Parka match...
Plus, I think LA Park should beat Jeff Jarrett. Here's another reason why. What you mentioned earlier, the Eric Bischoff. The curse of Eric Bischoff. It's payback. Remember, LA Park always jobbed in WCW.
So maybe
he should beat Jeff Jarrett, who was a WCW wrestler for several years, as payback.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I think that'd be wonderful.
For the Mega title, that would be great.
I just love that name, the Mega title.
Yeah, the AAA World Mega title. They should add extra to it. Well, there's a bunch of belts that are called all these different names.
Yeah, I always thought it'd be great to have some sort of intergalactic championship.
Yeah.
That's recognized on other planets.
Yeah, DDT has their KOD title or all these other titles.
What's the KOD title?
I don't know what it stands for. Don't ask me.
COD. The COD title.
No, it's. Here, I'll look it up. Talk about something you can actually pause it while I look for it.
We'll do that. We'll take another break. As Fredo looks up something really cool on his iPod, we shall return. And we have returned once more. Fredo found the information he was looking for in Ray DDT.
Yeah, and it was basically just the King of DDT title, which is the most easy name possible.
I like that.
I just forget. I just tend to forget.
We can call it the COD title.
Yeah, I just tend to forget all that stuff. Well, actually, I was confusing it with the other one, the 24/7 title that they have.
And they've had that title for years now, haven't they?
The 24/7 title has been defended. Like, it's been changed hands like 800 times.
And such over 800 times in such a fascinating array of characters. You were showing me that
a ladder held the belt.
Exactly.
Yoshihiko, who is the sex doll.
That's right, a sex doll, a schoolboy.
A schoolboy. A newscaster actually held a belt too.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
And a porn actress.
A porn actress. A poster.
Yes.
A poster. A Pro Wrestling Wave poster held the belt briefly.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a cool promotion.
It's one that definitely...
It's one... It takes... The only problem is sometimes they'll do a show and it's all in Japanese. Mm-hmm. Like, they'll talk a lot and then you don't know what's going on. And that kind of...
Yeah, I mean, if I was gonna... I guess since they're focusing on their home country, Japan, I guess that works. But if I was going to do a show and I thought people who speak other languages are going to watch it, I'd try to make everything understandable in the ring without anybody saying, what are they saying? I mean, I knew no Spanish when I started watching Titanes in El Ring when I was a kid. And even without understanding what they were saying, I could tell the whole storyline. I knew who was the heel, who was the face. Everything was done in the ring with.
And the bad thing is, like DDT, you kind of want to know what's going on because they laugh at a lot of stuff. It seems like I would like to know what Kikutaru says because he I don't know if you've ever seen him like wrestle. He holds the guy down for a little while and does a little speech before he does a suplex. So he's giving a speech while he's holding the guy.
Love it.
And then the guy wants to move and he starts hitting him and continues.
Oh, that's awesome.
He would have loved Incredibly Strange Wrestling. He would have been somebody who...
And that's why DDT fascinates me so.
Yeah.
Why I do want to see more of it.
And they do have good workers and stuff. They have talent. I mean, if you like Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega.
I have to get caught up in this one too. I probably only have time to get caught up with a few different wrestling promotions, and so CMLL I'm getting caught up on.
Yeah.
I would love to check out some more DDT, and while I know that the glory years of Japanese women's wrestling are gone and probably will not return, I'm still curious what's going on there.
There's a lot of teenage girls in Japanese women's wrestling. It's like kids. Like a lot of the shows.
Really?
Yeah, Ice Ribbon. There's a lot of girls Not like before it was girls. They were 18 or something, 19.
Now they're girls.
Yeah, they're little kids sometimes.
Now I haven't seen any of it, but it sounds like it could be creepy. So.
There's a little kid that wrestles with a mask on.
I think I saw that on YouTube.
Yes. It's a little boy with a mask.
I saw a match that was a tag match with a little boy with a mask.
And the old guy from Big Japan, what's his name?
I don't remember I remember on the other team was a little girl.
Yeah.
And I was tripping out. They were actually doing spots and moves.
I think they won the trios title or something. I can't remember that guy's name. The big.
So much to catch up on.
I'm horrible with names.
Now if we get Fly Teddy Hart out there to train some animals to take part
for DDT to win the belt.
Yes.
Some Canadian tigers.
Oh, that would be great. Yes,
Canadian. What's some grizzly bears or something? They got grizzly bears or polar bears? Polar bears.
A polar bear, that would be box office. That would be box office if you got a polar bear in there.
Yeah, that would be.
Well,
we're gonna talk about Rayo.
Rayo de Jalisco, made quite a statement. Was it Chris Zellner who broke this story?
Well, somebody interviewed him in Mexico.
I guess Rayo de Jalisco Jr. says the reason wrestling is not drawing in Guadalajara is because now he's blaming all the young wrestlers for not being able to get over.
And not using him. Well, he didn't say not using him, but not using the veterans, which basically is him.
I was going to say, if he said because they're not reusing Rayo de Jalisco Jr. is the reason they're not drawing, I'd say, great, Rayo de Jalisco Jr. is now a stand-up comedian. And a good one at that.
Well, see, the thing is, a lot of the guys, a lot of the older guys, when you get older, you start thinking your way was better than everybody's now, the younger generation. Your generation was better than the current generation.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, they're not drawing right now because there's a lot going on in Mexico besides just the wrestling part of it. And I think there is a change now with everything else that's going on. I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't really think it's kind of hard to draw nowadays.
It is.
When WWE comes in and people are probably waiting for that instead of going like weekly to go watch.
Yeah, I was going to say, and WWE is never going to be going there all the time, so they're still going to stay a novelty there. When they come in, they'll still draw. But that was an interesting spin he put on that.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, like, I know like a lot of the older guys, like El Dandy was talking about how the younger guys, they don't really train properly.
Yes, and we've actually
Blue Panther has said it. A lot of guys, the older guys, have said it, and I think it's kind of true, because I think a lot of people will get upset when they say it, because they think, oh, these old guys just don't know what they're talking about. But I mean, when these guys are telling you that they trained for 5 years before they actually got into the ring in front of a live audience, they did a lot of the they did a lot of the train.
Yeah,
the train. Speaking of the train.
Hello, train. We'll see El Vagabundo on the train.
El Vagabundo's passing by.
Because I remember Blue Panther was telling this to one of the local luchadores a few years ago, and they're saying that, traditional wrestling schools, you don't go in there and start learning high spots. They're teaching you very basic roles for quite a while, and basic lockups. You're learning from the ground up. You're going to be, a three-dimensional wrestler. You're gonna know mat work, flying, a little bit of everything by the time you're done.
What's the third one? Come on, Kurt. What's the third one? What is it?
Hell if I know.
You never learned. Oh, you never learned it.
Of course, whatever it is, I never learned it.
Kurt's the two-dimensional wrestler.
That's right. I need a cup of coffee as well, badly. My mind is going. No, but Lucha Libre schools, you're training people from the ground up. I mean, when I trained at Gills, they were teaching the most basic bumps in the basic block.
How long did you train before you started wrestling?
Lucha Libre style?
Or the first time?
The very first time when I wrestled American style, I trained... I think I started training in February of that year, which was 1983.
So it wasn't that long.
Yeah, I made my debut in July of that year.
Wow, 3 months? Yeah, but you were working indie shows, so it wasn't...
and
I think that's what they mean, like when they talk about guys...
Yeah, well, and when I started training at Gills, I started training there with the Mexican wrestlers in '89, and I didn't get booked on a show till '91.
Oh.
And what I remember is they had beginning classes, and they wanted you to do these simple rolls and lockups and really simple chain wrestling. They wanted you to do it in your sleep before you could do it in front of the audience. And what apparently is happening now is there's these young kids going to a school to learn traditional wrestling, and they're impatient. They want to learn all the crazy high spots first, and the teacher will say, well, that's not how we do it. But they'll go to another school where some slipshod, carny is running the school and just teaches them how to do suplexes and high spots before teaching them the basics. And, and I think Blue Panther was telling them that the reason they're doing that is because there was a lot of promoters willing to use these guys who aren't properly trained.
Yeah, I mean, and there's always a new promotion popping up in Mexico too, so... Yeah.
And I even remember one of our local luchadors saying, probably if I were young and somebody says, oh, you can do a couple of backflips and topes, I'll book you. If you're young, you probably would say, oh, yeah, instant job, instant money. But...
money? What are you talking about?
Well, spare change. Let me correct myself.
Experience. I'm amazed at how much stuff... Somebody's talking.
Yes, I think we're gonna have a run-in.
I think our neighborhood's going to the getting dangerous now. What was I gonna say before I was interrupted?
We were talking about training.
Yeah, but I was saying something else and I totally forgot. Keep going. Keep going. Well, the thing about it is, like, I think it's more of them trying to learn experience in front of like a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, a lot of these guys, I mean, there's no crowd after these indie shows anyway, so it's like...
Yeah, and...
I don't know.
And to be honest, I mean, remembering about 6 years back to when we, were at Arena Perro Aguayo in South LA every week, there would be youngsters getting in the ring.
Had no reason to be in the ring.
Had no reason to be in there. I mean...
There were kids that would jump during the little 5-year-old kids who jump in between intermission that were better than those guys.
That's true. That's not an exaggeration.
They were entertaining.
Yeah, part of it's the promoter's fault. They say, "Oh, you're a wrestler and you want to work for me? Okay, I'll book you."
Yeah.
I mean,
as long as you say free.
Yeah, if you say free, they're even happier.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw some opening matches that were just absolutely horrendous.
Kendo was the one who stuck his head out of the dressing room curtain. And I was watching the match, and he looks over at me and he's like, "Can you believe this?" Like, he gave me that "Can you believe this?" look, like, holy shit. And then I go back there and he's like, and then I'm telling him how bad the match was, and then I think you were there, and we were telling you how bad the match was, and a couple of other guys. And then the guys come in, it's like, "Oh, good match." But it was really bad. It was a really bad match, because, I mean, the guy would even miss the drop kick.
Oh, yeah, there were some guys in these matches so bad, they made some of the divas look like polished workers. I mean, and again, I'm being the old man.
Actually, they ran the ropes better than Kelly though, so...
That's true.
They did do that one. They did do that better.
And again, like I said, I don't think you should promote wrestling exactly as it was done 30 years ago, but I remember on the Hadco Plaza shows were in LA, which was the thriving indie lucha in Southern California for quite a few years, for almost 10 years. I remember the opening bouts were always very solid. You didn't have guys trying to steal the shows by doing 100 topes. You could tell they were guys who were green, but what made their matches good was they didn't try to do 101 moves.
They did the arm drag 57 times.
No, actually they did great mat wrestling. I mean...
Didn't do any arm drags.
They probably did some, but it's not like they did it over and over again.
Yeah.
No, even at the time, this was 1981, and I had yet to take even one wrestling lesson, but even I could tell what was going on is, they were telling them, do the holds you move, don't try to do a whole bunch of high spots that you kind of sort of know. And these would be really good opening matches where it was really solid mat work, then they'd break out into a couple simple but solid high spots, and if there was a tope in the match, one of the opening matches, it always was either the finish of the match or it led to the finish of the match. One of the popular finishes is somebody would just nail a guy with a tope and knock him out cold with it, and they'd win by a count-out.
Oh, wow.
But it's not one of those, I slipped on a banana peel count-outs. He actually nailed the guy.
And he'd stay there.
Yeah, put his lights out.
Yeah.
And gradually over the years, the local lucha promotions were a lot less picky about who they had booked on the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's fewer guys to pick from now, so...
Yeah.
I mean, there's more guys, but there's fewer to pick from.
And one of the things I should say with Hadco Plaza was these were all students from Gil's gym, and they were all being trained by several different trainers. There were Gil and... I don't know if Chacal Rivera had been training people.
Sure, Ray Rosas and Famous B are going to be in PWG now. They're making their debut.
Oh, very cool.
So is Freddie Bravo and Freddie Bravo from MPW.
Oh, very cool.
Do you know who he is?
I do know who Freddie Bravo is. I've met him several times.
You're shaking his hand like every show that he's in. And somebody else. I can't remember who the other guy is. There's 4 guys. 4 new guys that are...
PWG, really?
Yeah,
wow.
Freddie Bravo. The other guy I think is... I can't remember who it is. I think we've seen him too, and I can't remember his name. But I was surprised. Famous B's pretty good, so... Actually, all those guys are pretty good, so...
It'll be interesting to see them in a new setting.
Well, I think what's happening is that with Claudio and Chris Hero going to WWE, they're kind of... And ROH apparently isn't allowing guys to work shows that are being... I don't know if it's going to include DVD, but I mean, they don't want them to do pay-per-views or...
Right.
or what's the other thing? TV.
No,
So
pay-per-views make sense. I don't know if taking them off TVs.
And then, but I mean, PWG does DVDs, so I don't think it's going to affect them that much.
Nah, shouldn't.
Plus, I think they're not going to want to screw around with high spots too. So
yes,
they want to be invited back to the Wrestle Reunion. Actually, I don't know because they're not going to be in Wrestle Reunion, are they? Ring of Honor.
I haven't heard anything about
Dragon
it.
Gate, isn't it? Dragon Gate.
I do not know.
You don't know?
I know very little about
PWG?
Wrestling Reunion.
PWG.
Oh, you mean their show?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you meant just.
You don't know who's going to be. I don't think it's Ring of Honor. I think it's Dragon Gate.
Don't know a thing.
You don't care.
I don't.
You're not going.
I'll start caring about 3 weeks before the show.
You don't care about the PWG show that you're not going to go to.
I don't think that far ahead. I am zen.
Are you going to the PWG show this time?
No, I don't even know when it is. There's so many shows in Southern California.
I just remember that one show we went to, and it was like 4 hours long, and we're like, man, when is this going to end?
Yes.
It's like 1 o'clock when.
Well, that was kind of like the Achilles tendon of Southern California wrestling promotions. Is
how many PWG?
There'd be good shows with very good matches, but they would go on all night long.
How many PWG shows? The one in Industry was one of the PWG shows, right?
Yeah, what?
With Samoa Joe versus Super Dragon, and then there was another one. We saw the Samoa Joe Super Dragon show.
We saw that one.
That wasn't the main event, huh?
I think it was.
Wasn't there another match right after?
Industry?
Yeah, the City.
I thought that was the main event.
But wasn't there more afterwards? Was that the show Sanjay Dutt was at?
I don't think so.
No, that was an AWS show. Probably an AWS show. I just remember us leaving, and there was like a match that was a main event, and we skipped through. We were like,
I think we've done that.
Yeah, like
times.
it was like 4. I think we were there for 3 hours, and it was like, okay, this 1 more hour left, and it's like, oh god, come on, let's get this over with.
Yeah, and I do know we also were at several shows where the show was going on forever, and we couldn't leave because we were with somebody.
Yeah,
and so it's like, okay, we gotta stay all night. It's midnight? What the hell?
Well, MPW is pretty good about not lasting that long, so
they are. I mean, they pace it the way a promotion should be paced. You know, matches don't go on forever. Not everybody has to do every high spot in the book. It's a little bit.
Well, I mean, we're older. We don't want to stay up till like 3.
Yeah.
3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Getting home at 3 or
not
2 or 3
anymore.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I am, so I can't. I just turned 20. I just turned 20 last week.
Well, you were I met you.
Very knowledgeable.
You were a very mature-looking 10-year-old.
I was. I've always been mature for my age.
Well, I think this will be a good place to conclude the show.
Yeah.
And we should be having another LuchaWorld show up in a couple of weeks, and
we'll try to talk about something besides CMLL.
We will.
We'll watch some more wrestling.
We were somewhat prepared on this show. I could have taken some better notes. I could have.
No, I think there's so much CMLL right now.
It's the one to watch right now.
Right now, I
think it's the one to watch.
You could do shows right now, but I think once we start going a little further.
Yes, like I said, we're kind of working the bugs out, getting the bats out of the belfry, and
we're doing like a reverse slam and stand. We're starting really bad on this one.
That's right.
And getting better.
Yeah. I'll start these episodes stammering my way through them. Where slam and stand. I started out smooth and episode
and now I
became more of a space cadet.
Wait till we do the show where Kurt calls me at 10:30 in the morning to delete.
Yeah.
After he says something that offended somebody.
That was not my finest hour.
Yeah.
Not Vandal Roman's finest hour.
This one I could actually edit, so it's no big deal.
Well, like I said, we'll be back in a few weeks. We'll
talk about some of the results from the shows that
Yes, we will. So we will...
Everything should be done by then.
We will be covering... I was about to say we'll be covering all things Lucha, but I better play it safe. We'll be covering some things Lucha.
Well, the reason, Kurt, you want to talk about DDT, so...
I do want to talk about DDT. There's a few stray promotions in the stray wrestling genres I would love to touch upon in this podcast.
We could split this show into 2 shows. 1 hour Lucha and then 1 hour...
There you go. We're like Netflix.
We'll come up with a different name and we'll have 3 different podcasts.
We'll have a wide array of stray podcasts. Yeah. Okay, well, for those of you who have listened to this whole thing, thank you for listening, and we shall return in a couple of weeks.